I just found out that Mr. Vils might be my biological brother and I'm pregnant.
Okay. Your family just pulls you to the side and says, whatever you got going on, drop it, because that might be your brother.
Yes, ma'am. But they also wanted us
So
to just
did
not...
you drop it?
We had, when I say a slip up, we had 2 more times prior to that, after that.
And now you're pregnant.
Yes.
Imagine finding out that the person you're head over heels in love with might be your long-lost sibling. Yeah, you heard that right. So is the case of Miss MacArthur and Mr. Vils. This is a case where love, family secrets, and DNA results collide in a way that'll make your favorite soap opera look very tame.
You're a monster.
Let's start with Miss MacArthur, a woman who thought she'd found her soulmate, only to discover he might be sharing more than just her heart. Try DNA. She spills the tea to Judge Lake.
I just found out that Mr. Vils might be my biological brother and I'm pregnant.
Okay.
Now, how did this Jerry Springer-esque situation unfold? Picture this. Mr. Vils, our unsuspecting Romeo, accompanies Miss MacArthur to a family reunion. Sounds normal, right? Wrong. He walks in and bam, he's face to face with his own cousins. Plot twist, anyone? Mr. Vils, clearly shell-shocked, tells the court.
It kind of got my mind blown. Back in February, I recently went to one of her family reunions. I ended up seeing some of my cousins.
As soon as you walk in, you see some cousins.
Exactly. Because
Okay.
I know some of my family on my dad's side.
But
I
I
don't know
was
them like
looking
that.
shocked,
But I've met them once or twice in my life.
I'm shocked.
And so, wait a minute, Mr. Vils, so you never knew your father?
Things do get a bit real when Miss MacArthur's aunt pulls her aside at this reunion-turned-revelation and drops this bomb.
Yes, my auntie, she pulled me to the side. She was just like, I'm not gonna look at you funny because like my mom and my other aunts was there and they was looking at me funny in the face. And she pulled me to the side. She was like, I'm not gonna look at you funny in the face. That might be your brother. Whatever y'all got going on, y'all need to cut it out until you find out.
You knew as soon as you walked in, they were giving you a
something
side
wasn't
eye.
right.
Something wasn't right.
And she showed me that picture that she has there and said that his mom had sent her that picture a long time ago.
Mr. Vils' mom
Sent it, I guess.
sent that picture to your aunt, the picture when he was a little boy.
Yeah, from my
To
dad.
your aunt.
And she had it in the book the whole time, but I never knew they called him Jay. I didn't know it was Jeremiah.
Did they say this little boy was your father's child or might be?
It might be like a possibility.
When I was younger, I actually felt like I would run into some type of situation like this because I know my father just was always, you know what I'm saying, a reckless man, honestly, you know what I'm saying? He was driving trucks and he was just in hotels, you know what I'm saying, spending money on different women. So I knew he was just bound to have other kids that I never knew about, you know what I'm saying?
You know, you might be asking yourself, how could these two lovebirds not realize that they might be connected by blood? Well, you see, turns out that Mr. Vils grew up without his father, while Miss MacArthur knew hers. But apparently, dear old dad was quite the active gentleman.
How you doing, baby?
Despite the bombshell revelation, these two couldn't stay apart. Miss MacArthur admits,
You fall in love, you're in a relationship.
Love.
Yes, ma'am.
And your family just pulls you to the side and says, whatever you got going on, drop it, because that might be your brother.
Yes, ma'am. But they also wanted us
So
to just
did
not...
you drop it?
We did for a while, we tried to, but our feelings was too strong for each other.
Didn't drop it
like,
in.
We had, when I say a slip up, we had sex 2 more times prior to that, after that.
And now you're pregnant.
Yes.
now, we've got a bun in the oven and a paternity puzzle that would make Maury Povlich's head explode. Miss MacArthur is understandably freaking out and she has some valid concerns.
This whole thing really got me stressed out.
What is it, Miss MacArthur?
If that is my biological brother, my baby could come out with Down syndrome or anything.
As if this wasn't dramatic enough, enter Mr. Williams, Mr. Vils' brother, who's convinced that Miss MacArthur knew all along. He dramatically accuses her.
It's kind of funny listening to her tell this ridiculous story, how she claims she didn't know or she had no idea when she first met him, but she's told him before how her sister let her know that she could have a brother with the name Jay.
Yeah, Jay, not Jeremiah.
Now, are you suggesting to this court that throughout her life she should have never ever dated anyone that had a name that started with the letter J?
Not at all.
Because it could potentially be her brother?
If they would have maybe just possibly took it a little slower, try to look at the history right then, we
So
may
let me
not
ask you
have
something
been.
on the flip side, Mr. Williams. When your brother says, hey, I met a girl, I really like her, do you say to him, well, you better make sure she's not your sister?
No, not at all.
It doesn't make any sense. I understand why the situation could make you a little uncomfortable, but to accuse them of almost being negligent, and that's why this happened, is another thing. And I don't see
I'm
the
not
negligence.
accusing him at all. I'm accusing her.
Why?
I know that
Well,
because
hold on. Why are you accusing
because
her?
she has way more family history than he does. He's blind, very easily influenced. I know I've done it. For her to be 11 years older than him, I have in my head that she does know that even if they're not brothers and sisters, they could possibly even
But
be
how
related.
would I know? How would I know that if he
period.
just came from a whole nother state?
I need you to tell me why would a beautiful young woman like Ms. MacArthur decide in her mind that, you know what, I've waited this long to get into a relationship, I've waited this long to have a baby, I've waited this long to get married, and you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna get with this guy that might be my brother. You can't tell me a woman is gonna go out and purposely get pregnant by her half-brother.
You can't really say what the next person might do. With a lot of crazy people in this world. I'm very close to my
You
brother,
know what?
and he lets me
I
know.
always keep witnesses up until I feel they don't have anything left to say that's valuable. This would be your time to sit down.
Judge Lake, our voice of reason in the circus, shuts that down faster than you can say objection. She points out the absurdity of expecting someone to avoid dating anyone with a name starting with J just because they might have a long-lost brother named J. What? So here we are with two people who thought they'd found their soulmates, possibly siblings, definitely expecting a baby, and desperately awaiting DNA results that could change everything.
I'm sure this will be emotional either way. And if you'd like to take a seat, ma'am,
Yes.
please.
I'm gonna get this trash can just in case.
You okay? In the case of MacArthur versus Veals, when it comes to the DNA results for Katrina MacArthur and Jeremiah Veals, you are not brother and sister.
Talk about a plot twist. Our star-crossed lovers aren't siblings after all. They're free to love, free to marry, and free to raise their baby without worrying about some seriously awkward family reunions. But let this be a lesson to all parents out there. You see, your secrets have a way of coming back to haunt you. And not just you, but the kids you never knew you had. So maybe think twice before you start spreading your wild oats, or at least invest in some good record keeping. Google Sheets is free. Love conquers all. Remember, always check your family tree before you swipe right.